Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the Healthy Church Summit. Man, we are so excited to be with you today. Excited that you are tuning in. Hey, as you are, we want to know where you're watching from. So please go ahead and put in the chat where you're tuning in from. And if you are watching this over on YouTube, we'd love to invite you over to our website. It's an amazing viewing experience. Amazing, that might be a strong word. It's a really good viewing experience. No, it's
outstanding.
It's outstanding.
An extravaganza.
An extravaganza.
That's a stretch.
It's amazing. So go ahead, come on over to our website, join us there. It's the same video, the chat, everything. But again, we are pumped for today. Now, before we jump into it, my name is Scott. I'm going to be half of your hosting goodness coming to you today.
I'm Casey. I'm the other half of the goodness.
Yes.
Which I love. Thank you.
Yes. It's going to be fantastic. We got a lot jam-packed. I know I've said that a couple times now, but we have some year-end giving teaching from Jim Sheppard, from Generis that we're pumped about. We have some encouraging stories to share with you. We have some updates since our last summit. There's been a lot going on.
We've done a lot since the summer.
Yep.
To your point, that was the first summit. You were behind the scenes during the summer, and here you are.
In the scenes.
You are the scene, yep. Scott. You've made it, and here we are at our second summit. So much to update. We gave away $50,000. Yep. So we've got some really cool updates on that.
It's a lot of guacamole.
It's a lot of guacamole.
Yep.
You are not wrong. Ministry Brands Amplify. We kind of launched this at the first summit, and so many features have been added to that, so we're going to dive into that. We've also been hard at work at the Healthy Church Hub. So that is our resource center. Can't wait to tell you about all the goodness. There's so much goodness, but we've been busy.
We have. But listen, we have a lot to get to. We do want to just start off our time together by praying. Really, our hope is our time together, both the things that we can learn, be encouraged by, but also some of what we share as far as updates, the things that we've been working on, the team at Ministry Brands has been working on. Our goal and our hope is that it serves you and ultimately empowers your ministry. So we just want to pray to that end. So join me. Let's pray together. Father, thank you for this time that we have. Lord, I thank you for those who are hearing this, watching this. And Lord, I pray over the many, many churches represented today. And just ask, Lord, as we dive into all the material we have to cover, that it would honor and glorify you, but that it would really serve and encourage and empower the church leaders, Lord. We know that ministry is challenging and hard, but we also know that you're faithful and you're good, and you help us, you strengthen us. And so I pray you would use our time today to do that, and that you'd be glorified. In Jesus' name, amen.
So we're going to start with some of our updates, right?
Yep.
So let's start, if it's okay with you, with the Healthy Church Hub.
Yeah.
All right. We talked a little bit about this summer, but the Hub, we said it's our resource center. So this is a little bit new. If you haven't checked it out, you got to go to the website. I'm sure we're linking in the chat and on the website and all the places. But the resource center has so many things. Let's talk about a couple things on there that you may not know is available to you on the Healthy Church Hub. Number one, all of these resources, right? So we have gathered tons of content from our partners, from internal resources, and
the podcast,
yes.
Big fans, obviously.
We are really big fans.
Big fans.
We are probably the biggest fans.
Yep.
Because it's our own podcast.
Yeah.
So, if we didn't mention that, Scott and I co-host the Church Leadership Lab. Every episode is on the Healthy Church Hub, so you can see that there. If you have not, you can subscribe. I think that there's a QR code on the screen somewhere right now, so subscribe to that. It's not just Scott and I, although that'd be awesome. It's really great people that come on and help us learn how to be better church leaders through the resources that they provide. So subscribe to that. We also have coming soon the Ministry Matters email, which I think you can subscribe to or sign up for right now.
Yeah, and it's live. It's going.
Oh, it's done. I'm sorry.
It's going. It's early, though.
Okay.
It's on the early stages. So.
Well, it's getting there. But what is Ministry Matters email, Scott? Tell me what that is.
You know, really it's a way, obviously church leaders, you have so much going on, right? So much coming at you, so much to do. And so instead of, hey, come to our, come to the Healthy Church Hub, come and take your time to get there. Instead, we said, hey, what if we package all of these for you? And we said, hey, once a week, we're going to send you just kind of the highlights, the things, whether it's a podcast episode, a blog, a story, webinars, trainings, all that stuff. So Ministry Matters is a chance for people to get that in their inbox and get those resources sent right to them.
And then also on the Healthy Church Hub, I think that somewhere everybody, like if every time the word webinar gets mentioned, someone either like gets paid or gets sick to their stomach. But
yeah, somebody falls asleep. Somebody in the world falls asleep.
That's true. So we're not going to use the word webinar. We're going to use the word virtual events, but you know what we mean.
Yes.
Rather than having to like dig through your email and find links to that one thing that you went to in time, all of those great virtual events that we host are also on the Healthy Church Hub. So you have one place to find all the goodness.
Yeah, it's awesome. Check it out. And really, the reason why we do that is, again, our heart is to serve you and your ministry, and we love getting to do that. And we actually have a story from one of the churches that we have the privilege of working with. This is Cross City Church in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And we started working together as they were just looking for a better way to steward their resources, looking for the best way to take what people have generously given and use that for ministry. And so we were able to actually visit with Cross City, talk with them, hear a little bit of their story. And so we are excited to share that with you today. So go ahead and watch this.
So this church has a really long history. It goes back to 1904. Had a really rich history in the community. We just completed a large capital project that we called our Generations Project, where we connected a lot of our facilities for family friendliness and to be a more inviting church for the community. My name is Chris Muckleroy. I've had the pleasure of serving here as the Executive Pastor of Finance and Administration since 2019. And we run somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 people on our campus, physically on our campus on any given week. I love the ministries of this church, and that's part of the reason why my wife and I joined the church back in 2006. We've had several ministries that were birthed out of this church, one of them being Six Stones Ministry, and they go out into the community and they meet the needs of many of our community. Everybody from our preschool ministry to our kids ministry to our student ministry to our adult ministry, we all focus on the kingdom impact and reaching people for Christ. We started incorporating online giving in the early 2000s. That predates my time on staff here in my current role. But when I came on staff here, we were using a different platform. And in the middle of last year in 2022, we switched to your platform. Different platforms offer different benefits and different solutions, but we were really focused on stewardship, and we wanted to be, of course, the best steward of every dollar that comes in the door. And ultimately, we landed on your platform as the best stewardship experience and best user experience for our church. On previous platforms, for multiple gifts, you had to enter multiple transactions. This platform, your platform, allows an end user to make one transaction with multiple designations. And that's important to our church to make giving easy. So we decided to make the change after we were able to talk with some of your lead folks on different phone calls, and then able to see a demo, an actual live demo online, and make some test transactions and things like that. That was really, we were able to look at it and say, oh yeah, this is really good. And your team worked tirelessly through this process, and we were all very much appreciative of the effort that y'all put together. I remember driving back from the airport at like 8:30 on a Friday night, and I was on the phone with your team trying to troubleshoot some problems, and it was fantastic. But yeah, data migration, data integrity, and just asking all the questions up front. How you use something today, how does that translate to tomorrow? And ask those questions, and don't be afraid, because your team was excellent in answering and facilitating those questions. the largest impact that I see on the church is as online giving becomes more of a routine for people and more relevant, and more people are starting to use it. The cost of using those platforms increases for the church. The more people that are in my role are able to be good stewards and reduce those costs, the less conversations we have to have with ministries to say, all right, we got to squeeze here, or we have to cut here, or things like that. We don't have to have those conversations, and we can let ministry go do their thing, and we can focus on stewardship on our side. When you do these things, conversations naturally happen. Conversations of stewardship naturally happen. When you're able to send communication out to the church and say, hey, this is what we're doing, these are the reasons why we're doing it, and here's how you can help. When you move forward with a project and move forward with purpose, conversations happen and people become aware, and those people talk to people about the why. And when you start talking about the why, that's when you make an impact. And that's what we've been able to do through transitioning to your software, is we've been able to talk about the why. Not how much does it cost, but how much more ministry can we do.
Man, isn't that awesome?
I love that story. I love that church. I love that staff. I love getting to see we often don't get to see the other side of the users, the actual churches, the impact of the communities of the software that we provide. So
yeah,
I want to watch it again.
I know it's so encouraging, and really it is, yeah, like you said, like seeing the software in action, but then just like Chris said, like ultimately it's about the ministry.
That's right. And they talk so much about that stewardship, the digital giving, which kind of leads us into another exciting announcement. Technically, this was announced a few months ago, but before the Ministry Matters email that nicely packaged all that together. You may have missed this. So we want to take a minute, hear from one of our product managers to help explain a new feature in giving that takes something that was already safe and secure, but added some muscle, right? So check out this video about a new feature in giving.
In this rapidly evolving digital era, the technology behind digital giving continues to grow. In addition to that, the need for seamless service and robust security becomes greater and greater. Today, we're excited to announce Donor Shield. Donor Shield is a significant enhancement to our online giving platform aimed at providing non-stop donation processing while providing industry-leading safeguards to contributions. Let's explore the benefits of Donor Shield and why this will be a massive advantage to churches and ministries. Now, you may not know this, but there are multiple steps in the process a donation goes through to eventually end up in your bank account. This is true of all online giving, regardless of your provider. While ideally this process runs smoothly, we all know that issues might occur, and at times there are third-party interruptions. When this happens, it can cause things like lost donations, duplicate donations, and other things that ultimately can degrade the trust your people have when giving to the church. With Donor Shield, we've ensured security for contributions regardless of unexpected outages. Specifically, this looks like two major features, with the first being elimination of duplicate payments. Donor Shield identifies and protects duplicate payments caused by intermittent third-party failures. This mitigates the risk of erroneous transactions, safeguarding both donors and organizations from potential financial discrepancies. The second is transaction queuing for outages. In situations where third-party partners experience complete outages, Donor Shield supports transaction queuing. This means that once the payment processing system for donations encounters an outage, Donor Shield diligently checks for system recovery every few minutes. Once the system is operational again, it automatically processes the queued donations and promptly notifies donors with confirmation emails and affirming their success of the contributions. This means you and your donors can have increased peace of mind that donations will be processed nonstop, regardless of third-party interruptions. Not only does this increase peace of mind, but it also increases confidence among givers. In addition to seamless donation processing, DonorShield also increases the trust your donors have in the security of online giving. With industry-leading encryption and bank-like security protocols, DonorShield provides a guarantee that every ounce of generosity arrives precisely where it's supposed to, and that all transactions are safe, secure, and transparent. When a church uses DonorShield technology, it sends a clear message that they prioritize the security of their contributions. This not only solidifies trust, but also encourages more people to contribute. With the integration of DonorShield, we continue our commitment to deliver a comprehensive suite of secure, innovative software that leads the way in empowering healthy churches.
Man, how awesome is that? Kira explained that way better than I could.
I love it. I love it. I think DonorShield is one of those things for me when I think about it. Like you could, so let's say you can take your car into the shop and you can get like a new paint job, and everyone's like, oh wow, you had a red car before and now you got a blue car, right? And it's like everyone can see it. But then there's things that you have done where it's like, hey, we're going to make the engine 10 times better or stronger or safer or whatever, and nobody's going to see it, but it's like the car is just getting that much better, that much stronger. That's what I feel about DonorShield, right?
It's who saw your new engine? Kira saw it.
Yeah, right. Like
they know.
It is. I just think it's one of those things that just increases both the reliability, the security, all of that. It's already been very strong, but as the times change, like you have to change with them and continue to make sure that we're doing that. I think DonorShield is one of those things that really does that to ensure not only everything's happening smooth on the back end, but that your people, when they give, are just continuing to be confident, in the software you're using.
Well, the last thing you should have to do is wonder, is this safe? So just being able to give and give generously with trust. Obviously, that's that invisible thing, but it's there, and that's nice.
Yeah, so important.
Another really exciting thing. We're going to stay on the stewardship. We're going to talk about giving. Very, very cool announcement that I am excited. A long time coming is cryptocurrency and stock donations. So this is literally in the works right now, and we are super excited to talk about our partnership with the Giving Block, so that we will very, very, very soon, if not like as I'm speaking, maybe like wishful thinking, that you will now be able to not just give online, through text, through the mobile app, all these wonderful tools. We can actually give cryptocurrency and stock donations. So much more to come. This is not the details announcement. It is coming like right around the corner. It's super exciting. Do you have a lot of cryptocurrency to give, Scott? I don't.
I can't disclose that publicly.
All of mine is not doing well at the moment, but to know that I could actually give it is actually really cool.
I don't, but once I get it, I'm going to be able to give now.
Now there's a way. So Stay tuned. More to come on that. Keep your eyes open. Maybe that will be on the Healthy Church Hub or in the Ministry Matters email.
Yeah, we'll be talking about it.
Yeah. So more to come on stock and cryptocurrency donations.
Hey, and if, as we're kind of talking through some of these software updates, some of these things, I know some of you may be looking at it being like, wow, this looks interesting. I want to see more. And so actually, if you are watching on our website, another plug for the website, if you're on YouTube, come on over. We want to see you here. Join the party. There is a form to fill out actually to sign up to connect with our team, to get a demo, to see the software. We'd love to connect with you and love to see, is there a way that we can serve your church and ministry? So fill that out and we will be in touch soon. But hey, listen, speaking of giving, we did some giving of our own.
This is the part of this that I'm most excited about.
Yeah, super, super exciting. If you didn't, you can watch the replay, but if you didn't, if you weren't with us last time, we gave away $50,000, $10,000 to 5 different churches, and man, it was just, that alone was exciting, but then we actually got to talk with these churches and hear from them and hear what is this going to impact? What does this mean for your ministry? How is this going to encourage? How is this going to allow you maybe to do some things that you thought we're not going to be able to do this year, whatever it is. So super excited to share just an update from that. So go ahead and watch this with us.
For us, it's huge. It just kind of blew us away that we were one of the winners, and we're grateful for it.
I was just absolutely stunned because I've never won anything.
A gift like that enables us to keep doing what we've been doing all along since the 1950s, of trying to reach our community, send the gospel to the ends of the earth. Obviously, we have to have facilities, staff, support to continue the vision of the church. And so being able to address some of our facility needs will be important. We have some projects that, because of an older facility, our HVAC units, a couple of them are needing to be replaced. We're actually having a new soundboard put in next week. And so planning to manage some of those physical resources around our property is stretching us a bit. The Lord's providing, but again, the blessing of this gift right now is really at an ideal time, and just simply take it of the Lord.
We've actually been exploring a couple of different projects here at the church, and one is for our student ministry. They are in desperate need of some new computers for our check-in process, and then also we've got a good number of new staff members here at Brook Hills, and so thinking about possibly doing some more extra training with all the ministry brands, software parts that we are, that we take advantage of, and then also exploring what can we do to maybe help, in our local community.
We're a small congregation, averages about 50 people. I mean, $10,000 is about what we average a month in tithe. And so this is a huge boost for us. It's going to give us some freedom to be creative on the back end of this year to fulfill our mission of offering hope to our city. So we're excited about it.
Your assistance allows us to free up more of our time to where we can go out into the field and to be doing our work that we need to be doing for the Lord. So thank you so much for everything that y'all guys do for us.
Man, is that not encouraging?
The freedom to get creative to fulfill our mission.
Yeah.
It makes me emotional.
I know. I love it. I loved hearing, Todd talk about the fact that's a month of giving.
That's huge.
Yeah, and to just know that then that's going to be able to empower so much more ministry. Man, absolutely love that.
I just want to watch that again, please.
Yes.
I know I
yeah.
said that before, but now I also do, because the stories of who we actually get to serve, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
So replay Cross City, replay the videos, and I'll just sit here and cry, and
Yeah.
it'll be great.
Well, good news. You can watch this on replay. So this will be available on demand as well. Little plug for our on-demand viewers.
That's awesome.
Watching this maybe 6 months from now. We love you. We're thinking of you right now. Well, hey, we have some more product updates to get to. One of the things that I think has become, I might say, one of the most important things in regard to your front door is your digital presence.
True.
For a long time, the front door was the literal front door.
Your actual front door.
Right? Yeah. You walk in, front door lobby, here I'm in the church. Now, people experience your church far before they set foot inside the actual building.
Right here.
Yes, exactly. And so we know that's important. We know just how crucial it is to have a strong digital presence. And we know that a huge pillar of that digital presence is your mobile app. So we would love to share more, but one of the things, we will share more. One of the things we've been working on is something called Flex Content that really gives you all the power and the decision making around what is the mobile app experience going to be, what that's going to look like, and really empowers you to customize, to create that. So we're excited to share. We're excited for you to see this. So go ahead and take a look at this product update.
We're thrilled today to share a game changer for churches looking to improve engagement in the digital age, Flex Content. This is a powerful tool that can transform your church's mobile app and better help people engage with your church. We know that each church has unique needs for its mobile app experience. However, oftentimes you're not able to customize things the way you want, which leaves the mobile experience lacking. With Flex Content, we've enabled you to customize the mobile app like never before. You can now create custom pages to meet the unique needs that your church has, whether it's for first-time guests, connecting with members, various ministries, or even unique events. You can shape the mobile app to fit your needs. Additionally, Flex Content is a powerful tool for special occasions and holidays like Christmas and Easter, or even major events like VBS. Are you looking to invite people to Christmas Eve services? Do you want to share Good Friday and Easter details? Maybe you're launching a new ministry. Now you're able to create and publish content temporarily to further increase engagement with your congregation. Flex Content is designed to give you the maneuverability to use your mobile app to help with all of this and more. But that's not all. Flex Content lets you enhance the user experience in a variety of ways. You're now able to create custom pages that link to other modules or pages in your mobile app or website and add depth and further customization to the user experience. This creates a central digital hub for your ministry. Additionally, you can add images to any custom page and even assign each page a unique menu icon. All of this gives you a greater ability to connect with your congregation and help people get further plugged into the church. So to recap, first, it's all about customization. Tailor your app to meet the needs of your congregation, making them feel right at home. Second, enhance your engagement. Create a digital hub for your ministry for people to get connected through, whether they're first-time guests or long-time members. And finally, elevate the user journey. Make it easier for your members to engage with your church's resources and ministries. We can't wait to see the endless possibilities and customization that happen with Flex Content and the way it helps churches improve their digital experience.
There it is, Flex Content. We're pumped about this. I think one of the things that I love most is just all the ways that people can get creative with this, but then also all the ways that you can use that creativity to think about how can we get people connected.
We've been working on this for a hot minute. I love that yet another tool in that digital engagement tool belt. Of course, you have a website, but a mobile app, it just functions differently. They serve different purposes. So the freedom to be a little bit more creative through Flex Content on your mobile app, man, it's a great addition.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so, hey, if you're watching this and again, you're like, wow, that looks awesome, go fill that demo form out. Our team will reach out. We'd love to connect with you. Would love to show you this in person and see how this can help and serve your ministry. But listen, one of the things that we know as well is that these tools, typically, they don't just get dropped into your lap, and then it's like, great, I know how to use them, and off to the races. There's some learning involved, right? There's some adoption. Back to the car analogy, you could have, a Ferrari, you could have a bright red Dodge Challenger, like whatever it is that you're driving, you could have this amazing piece of machinery, but if you don't know how to drive, it's going to sit in the garage.
Yeah, congrats, you have a great car, but would you like to learn how to use it? Yes, please.
Yeah, you got to learn how to use it. And so we've actually invested quite a bit in our support, in our services, and really in our effort to help you as church leaders who already have a lot going on, plenty to do, but to help you actually learn and adopt these tools, to use them how they're meant to be used, which is ultimately how you get the most out of a tool anyway.
If you don't know how to use it, then great, it's sitting there, but yes, that's probably a little bit near and dear to my heart, as that's part of the team that I served on for the past 4 years at Ministry Brands, where those one-on-one trainings, you have this software, now what? Well, let's help you. Let's show you how to do this.
Exactly. Yeah. So I had actually the chance to sit down with our Vice President of Services, Jack Siegman, to just talk about a bit of our approach to that, why we do that, and then the impact that he has seen him and his team make on ministries and churches. And so we're excited right now to share this interview with you. Well, hey, Jack, thanks so much for taking some time to be with us today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, let's jump right in. In your experience, how big of a difference does it make for people to have specific hands-on training for the software they're using?
Yeah, it actually makes a huge difference. I think that we probably would all agree that we learn better when we feel like we're an active participant. Hands-on learning actually kind of creates that opportunity. Training really should be about more than just learning how to use new features. It should really be about putting theory into practice. So hands-on training kind of gives you that chance to learn while also using real-life examples that are kind of relevant to you. We always pick things up a little bit better when they're familiar to us. So if you do it right, hands-on training actually creates excitement, and it's also a way to kind of help with the learning curve too.
Now, when it comes to transitioning to a new church management platform, what's one of the biggest hurdles that churches often don't think about in that transition process?
Yeah, I really don't think enough attention is placed on how important leading through that change management piece is when moving to a new platform. When we need to remember that change is difficult, and it really helps to start by really understanding and kind of documenting that reason for the change. Get everyone involved, communicate the reason for the move, both during the transition and also after the transition as well. Kind of sometimes we need that reminder. And you also want to create and implement kind of an intentional transition plan that'll help you kind of work through that change management piece.
Yeah. Now, what can people expect when it comes to training and equipping that they receive when it comes to our software?
Yeah, when I think about it, training should really be about more than just knowledge transfer. People usually take that silver bullet approach of thinking that new technology will just kind of magically solve all their issues. It would be great if it was that easy, by the way, but equipping people to use our software is really about more than just feature training. So, one thing I really like to leverage and that I think is important is this idea of kind of the systems trinity. So the idea that, people, process, and technology really need to be working together. So each of those really kind of play a role. You have the right people and the best technology, but you also need processes that make sense and are kind of easy to carry out. And they also need to be aligned with the new software. The software is changing, so it would make sense that those processes need to change as well. So you can expect us to kind of work with you to make sure we include the right people and that we create a training and transition plan that drives you towards kind of fully leveraging the new platform you're investing in.
Yeah. Well, I love that, because when all of those come together, then you have something that makes a tremendous impact, not again just on efficiency or admin or the staff, but actually on the whole church and the whole ministry all together.
You're absolutely right. And I kind of think of a story that I used to kind of tell when I was working with churches is, and you might actually kind of, when you think about it, we start kind of talking through and kind of making sure that we understand the priorities and the goals of each church that we're working with, because, that church looks different than the church that's down the street or in another state, right? And we want to make sure that we focus on the priorities and work towards kind of their definition of success. And we also want to make sure we set them up for future success. They intentionally bought a platform that they can grow into, right? So by default, they're not going to be using every single feature from day one. And so we want to make sure that we build a really good foundation that allows their knowledge to grow with their use of the system also.
Now, what's one of the biggest wins that people see when working with your team in adopting new software?
Yeah, usually something that's not on their radar, but I think is a huge win, is creating efficiency. So creating efficiency can really kind of be that big win when you're adopting new software. So, efficiency will help you minimize the transition time. It also allows for time savings, and it reduces the time effort that's involved as well. Efficiency helps to create margin, allowing people to focus on things that they weren't able to before. Don't we all need a little bit more margin in our life? So efficiency can also improve that time to adoption, which is really, really important. And so when I think of improving efficiency, I also think about process improvement. So evaluating processes is something most churches don't really think about when adopting new software. So the software you're using to manage your church is improving. So like I kind of said before, it makes sense that the processes that go along with it can improve with it. So if done right, it can be a huge win.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, do any success stories come to mind where training and support has helped in transitioning software and ultimately empowering the ministry of one of the churches that we serve?
Yeah, I actually remember teaching at a conference and kind of looking at across the room and kind of making eye contact with a pastor that I had just finished working with a few months earlier. And he immediately started kind of making a beeline towards me, which made me immediately think, I don't know if this is a good one or a bad one, but I'm very excited that I get to see him again, right? So really before I had a chance to really, to ask him how things were going, he jumped in to kind of tell me about a recent hospital visit that he had just had. And, this wasn't a large church, but it was big enough where it's, difficult to know everyone and kind of everything that's going on. And so before he showed up for that visit, he really wanted to learn more about that family, right? So info that used to take him 2 or 3 phone calls around the church to learn and kind of, to piece together, he was able to pull out his phone, and while riding the elevator up to the floor to make the visit, he was able to get access to all that information. So he was able to learn about the family, about the spouse's name, the age of their kids. He was able to kind of see where they had filled out the visitor card just a few months before, and kind of the communication around that. And, had learned that they had actually just started serving at the church. So he was also able to see kind of where another pastor had visited the family just a few weeks earlier and then kind of left some notes about that visit. So that may not sound like much, but for him, it was huge. And, data really matters because people matter, right? And your data tells a story. So you really need to understand what story your data is telling you. So is it giving you just kind of the clip notes, or does it really kind of share with you someone's complete journey in your church? And, transitioning on to new software gives you a chance to better understand your data story and really what goes into creating it too. So we get so focused on, how software can help us with specific tasks that we miss the big picture. So when I think about success stories, I think about churches that make that connection. For this one church, because they made it a priority to make sure their data was telling the right story, they consolidated all these silo systems into one platform. So now we can benefit from each other's hard work. And that's something that can be something that used to take kind of a lot of effort to piece together, was immediately available to him on an elevator.
Yeah, and what I love about that is ultimately it means more impactful ministry for the church, and that's ultimately what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Jack, thanks so much for taking some time to share with us today. I appreciate it.
I really enjoyed it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Man, isn't that story awesome? Just the way that he kind of, he was sharing that church leader who really could make a more impactful kind of shepherding visit, hospital visit. I actually talked with a customer a couple weeks back, similar. He was heading into a store, saw a new family who had just visited, so he didn't know them well. And he's like, man, I want to remember some notes about them, their kids' names, all of that. He was actually able to then go in, connect with that. And so it's one of those things where when you know how to use the tool and you use it the way it's intended, it can have just an amazing, amazing impact.
And not just how it's intended, but to its fullest capability, right? So this is an area that I kind of nerd out a little bit about, like, hey, let me tell you every single thing that this powerful tool can do for you, not so that you have to become this software expert, but in fact, just the opposite, so that you can leverage every single feature that is packed into this little thing to make your job easier. And what is your job? It's impacting your community. It's building relationships. It's ultimately growing the kingdom. So I kind of miss taking those calls of, hey, I can help with this one thing, but hey, while we're here, can we talk about all the other things that you're kind of missing?
Yeah.
because you might actually be duplicating your software. You may not need 5 different systems because you actually have one.
Yeah.
You're not even using it to its fullest potential.
I feel like one of the best things is those conversations where people go, oh, I can do that.
It already does that. Or my favorite is, man, it would be so great if you guys' tool did this thing. And I'm like, that's a great idea. Can I show you exactly where it does that?
I know. That's where I feel like a magic, like sort of like, bam, it can right now.
I'm so glad you asked for that. Look at that.
We just made it happen for you.
Except it's done that for 5 years. You just didn't know about it. So yeah, those are fun.
That's why we pour so much into support and services, is to make sure you're using the tools that a team has worked so hard to create. Make sure you know how to use them so that your ministry can thrive. That's what we love doing.
Kind of the whole point.
Yeah. All right. Well, Casey, we're filming this in October.
True.
October is a big month.
It is.
Do you know why it's a big month?
I do know why.
I do too.
It's Halloween.
It is. That's not the big reason, although probably a lot going on there.
That's just what my kids would say because of candy. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I know the real reason.
Mine too. October is Pastor Appreciation Month. There's Church Admin Day. There's all sorts of opportunities for church staff to be encouraged, to be built up, to be told thank you. It's a big month.
A simple thank you would go so far, right?
Yes.
One of the things that I love about working at Ministry Brands is how many of our own employees either still are bivocational or came out of ministry or are high capacity volunteers. They genuinely love the capital C church. So they came to work for a software company that serves the capital C church. So for October Pastor Appreciation, we wanted to give the opportunity to express our appreciation. So check this out.
Sorry, can I interrupt? Very, very sorry. I have pastor and staff appreciation lunch for everyone today.
Hello, Pastor.
Hello.
I work for a company, it's called Ministry Brands, and we would like to do a pastor appreciation.
Okay.
This is just a small token of our appreciation.
Well, thank y'all so much. Give me a hug.
Pastors, church leaders, church admins, church staff, church volunteers, we love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Man, you probably don't hear that enough. We know ministry is hard. We know that you pour yourself out for the kingdom, for your people, for your community. And so, man, we hope you know how much we appreciate you. And it was so awesome to be able to empower people, not just to say, hey, here's a book. Nothing wrong with books. We love books. Here's a book. Go give it away. That's good. If you're doing that, that's good. No judgment there. But ultimately, people know their church is best, their church staff. So be able to say, hey, here are resources. You go and do it. You just go bless your church staff. However, whether that's a meal, a gift card, a gift, a getaway. There was some people who did that. I know there's plenty more stories outside of the video. But man, how excited. We love you, church leaders. Thank you.
I love those reactions. I want a bow tie. Why aren't you wearing a bow tie?
Yeah, I can't pull that off.
No, he's crushing that.
That is
that's a good look.
An effortless look there for sure.
Yep.
Well, hey, we know that the ministry year is nearing its end, and we know that with that is year-end giving. And so it's that time of year that is crucial, that is super important. But we also know there's a lot going on. Now, hopefully, as you're watching this, maybe that has crossed the radar. But one thing that we wanted to do as we're kind of gathered like this is have a chance to be able to pour into you, church leaders, with the hopes of maybe having this be a year where it's kind of the strongest year-end giving that you have ever seen.
That's right. And if you're a church leader, if you're an administrator, it is no secret to you that charitable giving increases end of year. There's a ton of statistics. You can pull them. But on average, end of year giving is 30% of a charity or nonprofit or a faith-based organization. 30% of your charitable giving comes at the end of the year. And not just the volume, but the gift size. Usually about 10 to 12% higher of the gift average amount. So that end of year time is really, really crucial. And as that's the season that we're in, we invited Jim Sheppard from Generis, who is a little bit of an expert in this area.
He's an expert. And one of the things I love about Jim, too, is that his heart is not to get your church to give more. His heart is to grow generous disciples. And so that'll come through. We were able to sit down and actually had a conversation with Jim, and he shared just some really powerful wisdom around approaching year-end giving. How should you think about it? How should you plan for it? And also, how can you use it to not only finish the year strong, but to start next year even stronger? So we're excited for this. Go ahead and take a look at this conversation that we had with Jim Sheppard. Well, Jim, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us today. I appreciate it.
Scott, it's always good to be with you, brother. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. Well, as we jump in, I'd love to start here, just to start at the beginning. From your experience, your perspective, what are the most significant things to make sure to get right for a successful year-end giving campaign?
I'd say there's two of them, Scott, and there's no genius in any of this. This is going to be obvious, but it's just based on observing how churches deal with this every year. The first one is start early. Start early. In other words, give yourself plenty of time. The ones that don't go well tend to be churches that have waited until after Thanksgiving to even think about this. Oh, wait, year end's coming. I got to do something. That's too late. You can do something, but it's going to be, it's not going to have everything it needs to be effective. So start early. So I love the timing of this, that you're doing. This would be about the right time to start. Most people don't have it on their radar screen yet, but we're starting our year-end giving motion here to make sure people are aware of it. And then the second one, which is related to that, and this is why you have to start early, is to think about your messaging. Think about your messaging. So messaging is really important. Start early and have good messaging. I'm not going to tell you what your message should be. Got some ideas about what that should be. But if you don't start early, here's what I can almost assure you. Your messaging will be off because you won't have enough time to think it through and clarify what's really important for you between now and year end. And, that's if you do those two things, then the other things are not that hard. The tactical piece, the motions, whether it be the social media, whether it be the emails to your people, whether it be what you're going to say in public in your worship gatherings, because obviously you got to say something about this in your worship gatherings. I think all of that is a part of it. Start early, good messaging. And those two are related.
Now, what advice would you give as church leaders are looking to set goals for year-end giving? Is there a certain percentage of the yearly budget? Is there maybe another metric, something that can help inform goals?
Yeah, I love this question, Scott, because what it brings to mind for me is that what churches tend to do is they tend to leap toward some financial number that they need between now and year end. Hey, so we are hoping to take in $1,600,000 this year. Looks like we're running about $200,000 behind, and they begin to define success in the $200,000. So what if instead of doing that, we define certain giver behaviors that we want to improve and see if that might have a better chance, and not only see if it will have a better chance of getting your $200,000 for you, right? Between now and year end, we'd like to see more people make a first-time gift to our church than ever before.
Yeah.
In fact, we'd like to see, we had 100 between Thanksgiving and the end of the year last year, we had 110 people who gave for the first time. We'd like to see that be 200 this year. We'd like to see, and then you can call out some other kinds of things that you would want to see. We'd like to see 30% of our church give more this year than last year, or whatever metric you would do. So define some underlying giver behaviors that you want to see and not focus so much on your need. That's where we really get caught up. And you know me, I'm a financial guy by training and background. Nobody loves a good set of numbers better than I do. But numbers is not how you define this. Talk about how your people are behaving and the things that those are, as we might say at Generis, those are inputs to the output, which is giving, right? And so let's not talk about the output, trying to change the output. Let's talk about these inputs that could change giver behavior. And a big part of that is thinking through, what does financial discipleship look like in the life of our church, and how would that influence our goal setting as opposed to just transactional thinking for meeting a need, so to speak?
Yeah. And I love that. I think that you probably just help kind of redefine goal setting for year-end giving for a lot of people, because that's a great way to think about it, to end up with the end goal you're looking for, which, again, knowing you, I know it's not just transactional giving like you said, but it's actually shaping people. So when it comes to year-end giving, how can churches, instead of just focus on maybe a number or transactions, how can they ensure that they're better forming and shaping their people through the process?
Great question, Scott. So let me back the tape up just a little bit and give you kind of a macro. So the macro that I see in America, and there are lots of churches that are not doing this, but this is kind of the substantial majority report that I get is, and by the way, I'm not speaking judgment on anyone, because this is a drift that a lot of churches ended up over here and they didn't mean to. And when I say it, they realize they're there, but I know it's not a malicious heart or a bad heart or impure motive. They just ended up there. So here's what I'm saying. We end up sounding like all of our conversation is that the primary goal is that the church finances flourish. Well, that's highly transactional.
Yeah.
And what we're really trying to do is seek the flourishing of our givers. And then if we'll do that, there would be no question that our churches would flourish, maybe and probably likely much more than they even envision right now. And again, I'm a financial guy. Nobody likes to measure deltas and percentage improvement more than I do. But I feel like that when we speak about church flourishing first, we're actually putting lids on our giving, and we don't realize that. We're putting lids on giver behavior. And I think, the verse that I would hold up that's the clearest one to me is when Paul was kind of having this little, discourse in the 4th chapter of Philippi, of his church letter to the church at Philippi. And he's talking to the people at the church there, and he said, look, verse 17, the gifts you gave to my ministry, I'm grateful for, but what I was even more excited about was what happened to you when you gave to us.
Yeah.
So there's the back of the tape. So what would it look like for us to embed that into our year-end giving thinking? So there would be what I would say some mission and vision talk. Mission and vision gets lived. When mission and vision gets lived out, you're seeing impact. So tell stories of impact. Recap some of the stories that you've told during the year. One of the things that happens is we drip stories out during the year, and nobody realizes that if you put all of those stories together, it's a really massive impact that you're talking about. So maybe even just go back and recap stories you've already told during the year, because there is a collective amnesia that begins to set in, and you're trying to say, look at all the great stuff we've done this year.
Yeah.
This is not about meeting a budgetary need. This is about making sure that our ministry is positioned to do more of this right here that we've told you. And then underneath that, rather than talking to people about an amount of money that you need, what about just asking them this question? Hey, so this year, we want to see more new givers. We want to see more of this. Talk about those 2 or 3 giver behaviors. But importantly, between now and year end, rather than us telling you how much money we need, here's what we want you to do. We're sending you your giving statement of everything that you've given to the church through the first 10 and a half months. Take a look at that and make sure 2 things. It's in line with your plan to give this year. And number 2, that you've asked God, what would you have me to do to honor you with my finances in the giving I would do between now and the end of the year? and do it that way rather than saying we're running $200,000. You might be running $200,000 short. Let's not make that the primary card that we're throwing out here. Let's put some other things out here. We believe, and we've seen it, when churches are very intentional and focused on this, it has a much different result, both in terms of the financial piece and the spiritual piece.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how it highlights, again, individuals. What does your discipleship to Jesus look like, and what is your faithfulness? That's awesome. Now, the end of the year is fast approaching. I know one of the things you said as we started was it's important to start early. So how can churches best prepare for their year-end campaign? And specifically, does Generis have any tools that might be able to help with this?
So one thing we didn't say here in the conversation, and I think it's important to put this in here, is everybody talks about December being the largest giving month of the year. I actually can give you some idea of what it looks like in most churches. For most churches, December is twice as big as the average of the other months in the rest of the year.
Wow.
Right? I was looking at the data for a church yesterday, pretty large church, and they're receiving anywhere between 6.75% and 8% of their income annually per month. Okay, 6.75%, 6.75 is the low side, 8 is the high. It's running about 7.5. You know what their December is? 16%. 16%. 16% of their giving comes in December. So there's lots of reasons for that. There's consumer behavior. There's just American behavior. There's procrastination. I mean, there's tax reasons. There's all. Not here to talk about that. That's the reality, is that it happens then. So that's why you need to plan early, think through your messaging, right? And the messaging that now that we've gone through this, you're going to hear the messaging we would advocate is more transformational, not so transactional, right? Start early. I would start by just sitting in a room and getting the numbers from last year and say, hey, what did we do last year in giving? And then say to ourselves, what would it look like for us to experience a substantial improvement in that, in terms of, and find some giver behavior in there, the number of people who made new gifts, or whatever you wanted to put in there. I mean, for me, by the way, one of the things I'd be talking about this year in is gifts of appreciated assets, because lots of people are holding stock that has made money. And if you had $25,000 in stock and $25,000 in cash, I'd tell you to give the stock. And then if you like the stock, go use the cash and buy it back, and now you end up with a $25,000 basis, and you wipe all the gains off the books. It's a magical way to give, totally legal with the IRS, and you can do that. So I would sit in a room with my lead team or whoever my team is, and then I would commission a year-end giving task force. If it's a smaller church, if it's a larger church, whoever it is, commission, a 2 or 3, or maybe if it's in a larger church, maybe it's 5 people. Probably has somebody in communications, probably has somebody in finance, and probably has somebody in discipleship. Have all 3 of those represented, and I think you're likely to end up with a pretty good place. Now, we also have a resource that we've developed that actually takes the year-end process and the January reporting process and weaves them together. And we call it Finish Strong, Start Well, right? Finish 2023 well, strong, and then start 2024 well. You're going to have to send a giving statement to your people in January. So what we say is, rather than looking at that as 2 motions, why don't you look at it as 1 motion that's all together? Yeah. And that's what our resource will do. And we've given you guys, I think, the call to action on that, so people can find that fairly. We'd be glad to help you. Lots of it is free. Got lots of free resources there. But then there is a coaching option for anybody who might want us to come in and help. But there's that free stuff, you could probably do most of it on your own if you wanted to. Start early, get your team in the room, develop your plan.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, as we wrap up, as someone who has a ton of experience cultivating, growing generosity in the church, would you just give people some encouragement as they look to finish 2023 strong?
Gosh. Scott, as we look at 2023, it's been an amazing year as we watch the churches that go through this. We see hundreds of churches that are our clients. And as you might imagine, we talked to 2 or 3 times as many churches as that don't end up being or they postpone or whatever. You have to talk to a lot of people to get to that many. And what we're seeing is a post-pandemic giving pattern that to date looks really strong. Our clients are seeing lots of good successes just in their regular ongoing giving. We're having a lot of people that want to just develop their culture of generosity, even if they're not having a campaign. So there's a lot of reason to be optimistic. I know there's talk of a recession, interest rate. I mean, look, I read the Wall Street Journal every day. I know what's there. There's lots of reasons to be concerned, but we live in a world as Christians where we already know who the prevailer is in everything. And so our optimism should be on the other side of all of that, right? I know that there may be a little bit of a dip coming, if you believe that, but I still believe God is bigger than all of that. And I would say the piece that we didn't talk about here in your year-end giving campaign would be this, and it would be prayer. And, you know, we tend to add prayer and talk about prayer as an additive. And several years ago, I forget who pointed it out to me, but the October 17th reading in My Utmost for His Highest is a classic in the area of prayer. And it says, I don't remember, I'd have to look it up and read the rest of it, but he says, Oswald Chambers, and don't we love Oswald? I mean, as many times as any of us have done My Utmost, the next time you go through it, you'll see something you didn't see the time before. Yep. But in this October 17th reading, he says this, and he's talking about he's talking about the scripture where Jesus says, greater works than I will do in you. And so he says this, he says, prayer does not prepare us for the greater work. Prayer is the greater work. That's good. It is the greater work, brother. And if we can remember that, to pray for the hearts of our people. How many times do we sit and design all these tactics and all these wonderful things and all these letters and all of this, and we haven't sat down and said, Lord, would you be the one who rules in hearts, who opens clenched fists and releases resources into your kingdom for your glory and for your honor, not so that our budget can be met, for your glory and for your honor, and so that we can minister in your name in this community and beyond. And I think for me, if I had to add a final word, that would be my final word. Read October 17th in My Utmost for His Highest and follow what he says there.
Yeah. Well, Jim, thank you so much for not only sharing your wisdom and experience, but sharing your time and helping people to continue to grow disciples and grow generosity. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you know I'm passionate about that, brother. So any chance to talk about it with you or others, but I'm always grateful. We always have a good time when we chat together, so thanks for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Man, that is so good. And we love Jim and Generis. So extreme appreciation for Jim joining our summit, sharing his wisdom. I love that Generis talks about not growing donors, but growing disciples, like their heart, the intentionality of why they exist just pours out of Jim's spirit. I love that he came to share his wisdom. The resources that Generis provides are not just for year-end giving, they are year-round. So on that amazing website, scroll down, there is a section about Generis where you can join them to link out, sign up with them to receive all of those great resources, not just for year-end, but the whole year long, and start 2024 strong. Yeah, they have some coaching there. Well, we have that link, head right there. And then actually on your way, you're going to see we also have some year-end giving resources for you as well that we'd love to give to you. This is everything that you're going to need. Again, we know there's so much going on, especially this time of year. And so you don't have a ton of time to create all of this. So we wanted to do that for you. So everything from emails, announcements, understanding, even some tools to understand who are your givers and how can I best communicate with them, sermon outlines, social media, we have everything. Yeah, there's so much there. And again, we just want to give that to you. So go ahead and click that link that you'll see just below on the webpage. Again, last shout out, if you're watching on YouTube, come over to the webpage. We got a little bit left here. We just kind of crossed the hour mark. We got a little bit. And so join us on the webpage for the last little bit. It's going to be awesome. But click that link. We would love to get those year-end giving resources to you. All right, listen, we're almost near the end. We've had an awesome time together. We got our giveaways coming up soon. We haven't even talked about the giveaways. I know.
We got some bonkers giveaways coming up. I know. Everyone's been like, just get to the giveaways, okay? We are. Trust me. We're going to get there soon. Before we do, we wanted to share something with you. You know, as a company, we've really grown and evolved over the years. And for us, it's been a journey. And one of the things that's really exciting is kind of where we're at now, what we've learned, how we've grown, and really the position that we're in now and the vision that we have for the future. And so what we wanted to do was have one of our senior leaders, Brandon Sherritt, share some of that vision and communicate to you just some of what the future looks like. So just take the next couple minutes, go ahead and watch this with us.
Hello, church leaders and pastors. I'm honored to connect with you today and grateful you joined us at the Healthy Church Summit. Here at Ministry Brands, we've continued to ask ourselves the question, how can we help empower healthy churches to better connect, engage, and grow their ministry? In this rapidly changing digital landscape, our goal has remained clear: provide the best software and services on the planet to help the 90,000 plus churches we serve. The question then becomes, how do we accomplish this goal? Currently, this looks like a relentless pursuit of innovation. We're devoting more resources than ever to developing and strengthening the world-class software and services we offer. During our last Healthy Church Summit, we announced Ministry Brands Amplify as a true all-in-one solution for churches. Today, we shared just a small portion of the work we're doing to build upon this platform and create the most robust solution available for churches. Not only are we pursuing innovation, but we're also diligently working to unify our brands to continue to bring the best customer experience possible. From diligent onboarding and training to live phone support, we want to ensure church leaders are equipped and supported. We're grateful that today, Ministry Brands offers end-to-end solutions for every software need a church could have. As we continue to unify our platform, we'll only grow stronger and stronger. This positions us not only to meet the needs of the church today, but to continue to meet the needs as churches and ministries evolve and grow. As we look ahead, our dedication is to pursue innovation, increase impact through unification, and stand side by side with you as your work changes the lives of so many. We're grateful to play a small role in the mission of the church and look forward to the incredibly bright future we have together, continuing to do all we can to empower healthy churches.
I mean, what else could we say? I mean, Brandon kind of wrapped us up perfectly, not just where we are, but where we're going. So thanks to Brandon for sharing some of his heart and the vision of our senior leadership. So,
yeah,
man.
It's exciting. Yeah, I think just the idea of, again, what can we do to best empower healthy churches? What can we do to serve the church leaders? So many of you watching this right now with the best tools, not only creating those tools, but equipping you to use them and really helping to fuel your mission. So it's exciting times.
Speaking of exciting.
Giveaways. Here we go. Giveaway time. The moment everyone's been waiting for. If I had a snare drum, I'd play a drum roll right now, but I don't. And so
Next time.
That's okay. Yes.
Man.
Now, listen, I know that sometimes when you watch these, it's like, hey, we're going to give away. Then people read the names and they're like, kind of butcher the last name. And they're like, I think this is that person. We wanted to do it a little different. We want to have a little bit different style on this giveaway. So here's what's going to happen. If you're wondering, did I win the giveaway? Here's how you find out. Okay, so right now, if you're on the webpage and you're watching, you'll see a little link for our social media profiles. If you are not, you can just go to Instagram, to our social platform, Ministry Brands Official. Go there on Instagram right now, and we just posted the winners to our Instagram. So go there. While you're there, click the follow button. All right, a little shout out. We want to keep building that community. We have amazing resources there. We're connecting and sharing a lot of the things that we're creating and doing that you talked about with the Healthy Church Hub.
Yep, it's all there.
So go to our Instagram right now, click follow, click a couple likes while you're there. It's up to you. But you are going to see who won those giveaways. We're going to make sure to reach out via email as well. We had a MacBook Pro, a $500 Amazon gift card. So if you're into books, well, I guess people say books with Amazon. They sell quite a bit more. I don't even know if they sell books anymore. Probably not. Probably not. So whatever you want from Amazon, $500 there. Apple AirPods. We're giving away a year free of Share Faith media that is going to be an incredible resource for a church.
That's a lot of content.
That's so
for
much
a year.
content. There's so much there. We don't have the time to dig into all of it, but it's going to be just a huge blessing. So go to Instagram right now, click the follow, and you're going to see who won those giveaways. We'll be reaching out via email as well. But there it is. We made it. The Healthy Church Summit Part 2.
You know what I wish were true?
What's that?
You just touched your glasses.
That we could fly?
Well, yeah, that too. But
Oh, okay.
what you said was we just posted the winner, and what I was thinking in my brain was all the talk about innovation and what we're doing. I was thinking, how cool would it be if you, you do a lot of our social media, if when you touched your glasses, that's what actually
Spoiler
sent the
alert.
post.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
I know.
Maybe for the next summit,
The
we'll
next
have
summit.
the smart church management software glasses, where you just look at somebody and it gives it,
So our product and development team better get to work, because we just announced the next feature that doesn't exist.
That officially is not on the roadmap, but maybe one day.
But you know what is on the roadmap is Ministry Brands Amplify. And if we didn't mention it, our team would love to show that to you. So if you've heard about all this great stuff, but man, I haven't even seen it yet on the website, schedule a demo. We would love to show you under the hood.
Yeah.
Show you all of Ministry Brands Amplify, all that great feature.
We would. Listen, church leaders, thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for watching this. We are cheering you on. We know that the year is wrapping up. We know that there's still a lot of ministry ahead in those next few weeks, but just know that we are in your corner. We're cheering for you. We are going to continue to work hard on our end to support and empower your ministry, but we're so grateful for what you're doing, for the mission that you're accomplishing, and we're excited. We're going to have another Healthy Church Summit here coming up early 2024, so be on the lookout for that. But remember, we're in your corner, we're cheering you on, and we're grateful for you. Thanks so much for being with us today.